No toques, no toques. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, today's video is going So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about daycare, my journey with it, some pointers for you if you're watching and you're a college mom or just a young mom or a mom in general. You're just having some doubts about daycare. So my son was born the week of finals, my junior year. With my finals, and I was able to, you know, get everything done. Or if I didn't, I was able to talk to my professors about it. That's another story. After I took all my finals, I had the whole summer basically to just watch my son. I'm very blessed and grateful that that was the case. But at the beginning of my fall semester of my junior year, I had a class that was earlier. Yeah. And my mom normally watches him when she gets off of work. I had one class that was before my mom was able to get off of work. So at that time, he was only like 4 or 5 months old. Probably younger than that. I didn't want to put him in an actual daycare. At that point, I didn't know that there was child care assistance programs. And I didn't have the money to put him in a daycare. And I know a lot of daycares have wait lists on them. So I didn't think that was an option for me. Luckily, one of my neighbors has an in-home daycare, and so I asked her if she could watch my son for a few hours twice a week so that I could go to my class, and then my mom would just pick him up when she was off of work. My neighbor is lovely. She does a great job watching kids. You know, when your baby is so young, I think it's just natural for a mom to feel bad at leaving their child in the care of a stranger, and even to a certain extent leaving your child in the care of a family member that isn't his parent. It kind of feels bad. Like a mother feels like she needs to be there 24/7 for her child. I was feeling bad, and then I also felt like, you know, this is an in-home daycare. It's not like a licensed place, and you know, things could go wrong. So I had that thought in the back of my mind, and I didn't really think that there was another option for me. For whatever reason, the class ended up not working out for me, and so I decided to drop it. At that point, I was able to stay with Sebastian and take him out of the in-home daycare, and I was just able to take later classes late enough so that my mom could get home from work, and then once she got home, then I could just go to school. And that ended up working out as well for the second semester of junior year. That was great because, you know, for me, I felt great that my mom was able to watch him, and he loves my mom and she loves him. They have a great relationship, and it just felt it felt nicer, and I felt more at peace knowing that he was at home and with somebody that I knew. But then, you know, as he gets older, he's starting to run around. Obviously, like you can see in the background, there's a mess. He runs around. He doesn't sleep as much as he used to, and my mom works very early, and she is on her feet, and you know, she works a lot, and my dad helps out too, my brother helps out too. And so I started to think about what I needed to do for my senior year, because for my senior year I had to take a lot of classes that were only available in the mornings. I thought about taking him back to my neighbor's house, but unfortunately she wasn't able to watch him. And then I started doing research, and I found that in Indiana there's, I don't know about anywhere else, but I know that in Indiana there's like a child care assistance program. I had heard about it before, but like I said, I didn't really see the need to put him in daycare when I was able to watch him until my mom got home, and then she could watch him, and then we would switch again after I got off school. Started to do more research on this voucher program. I think in like May, I put in a request to be on the assistance program. So I think for this program, you have to either show them your pay stubs or you have to give them a schedule for your school. And so I did that. I went through all of the steps to do that, and I was notified maybe a week or so later, like 10 days later, that I was on the wait list for it. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll be able to be off the wait list by the time that school comes around, because that's in a few months, so I'm sure it won't take that long. But government funding for something like that is not very much, and so there's a long waiting list. It was getting closer to the date that I had to start school, and I still hadn't heard back from the assistance program, and I was getting nervous because I don't have the money to pay hundreds of dollars a week to put him in daycare. I was frantically trying to find somebody to watch him for a few hours while my mom got off work. But then my mom ended up being able to switch her schedule at work. She was able to get off early enough for me to make it to my early classes and for her to stay with him. So, but then, you know, Sebastian is a handful. My mom gets up very early to go to work, and she has a lot of work to do. And so I was getting more anxious because I was like, daycare is something that I really need now. Oh my gosh, I thought he was gonna throw that. I need to be able to put him in daycare. As much as I don't love the idea of putting him in a daycare because he's gonna be around strangers, and you hear about all these stories that happen where the daycare workers treat babies badly, or they like hit them or something. And one of my friends, she had some problems with some daycares here in my town. I was just very freaked out, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And I was thinking about what I was gonna talk about in this video, and I thought maybe I could do a poll on Instagram to see what people thought about daycares. And I thought it was going to be like 50-50. Some people were going to say, oh no, they're super useful, I'm all for daycares and I like plan on putting my kids in daycares or whatever. And I thought the other half were going to be like, no, daycares are horrible, it's not for me, it's not for my kids, like that type of thing. But to my surprise, the people that answered my poll, I think I only got 3 people that answered nope, not for my kids, and the rest of the people that were like more than 20, I think, answered they are super useful. Okay, so I had to switch settings because my mom got home and I have to go to school. But anyway, so I think I was talking about the poll on Instagram. I was just very surprised by the fact that there were so many people that were saying daycare is super useful and like they were all for it. And there were only 3 people that said daycare wasn't for their kids, which is totally fine. Everybody, like, to each their own. Everybody has their own opinion, their own rights, whatever. I was just very surprised because I feel like when people have asked me who watches my son, especially when it's older adults, they'll say for the most part, oh, it's so good that he's with your mom, you know, it's always better to have him be with your family. And I feel like especially that's the case when it comes to people of color, or at least just my family in general, that I've noticed. I'm obviously not going to sit here and say, oh, every single person of color thinks this way, but what I've noticed, at least with some people within my ethnicity, as well as, you know, other people of color that have spoken to me, I have noticed that adults, again, they express that they think it's better to have children with the parents or with a family member rather than in a daycare. And I completely get where they're coming from. Like I said in the beginning, I'm certain that every mom, every parent goes through this kind of like guilt and fear of leaving their child with somebody other than themselves. And you know, it's a difficult thing to have to do, but you know, I guess I was just very surprised at the fact that my poll showed a lot more people around my age that said they were completely for daycare. And in particular, one of my friends told me that her mom put her in daycare since she was 6 weeks old, and then even when she was in preschool and at school, she was always in after school care because both her parents had jobs and her mom worked really hard and made a great career. And my friend said that she never resented her mom for it. She has always looked up to her mom as a hardworking woman, and that's something that I greatly admire. Obviously, that's not going to be the case for every person. Every kid is different. But, you know, I guess one of my fears also is the fact that I feel like I take on a lot with school. I'm a full-time student. I have 2 jobs at school, although I mean I don't work a lot at the 2 jobs, but I still have the 2 jobs, and I don't have to have the 2 jobs. I make sure to also try to involve myself in some activities at school. I don't know, I feel like I'm just always busy, and every time that I say yes to doing something else, I just feel like I'm being a bad mom because I'm not with my child. I think that that's very normal, and you know, I wanted to talk about this and make a video about this because I know that a lot of moms may go through the same thing, and they may feel like they're the only ones that feel that, or maybe they don't feel that way, but they just want to hear somebody else say it out loud. So this is for you if you're going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing, that I relate to you and that I understand the way you feel. And if you ever felt bad for having to put your child in daycare, or you know, if you weren't able to stay at home with your child because you had other responsibilities to take care of, that it's not a bad thing, that you had to do what you had to do. You had to either work or go to school or do both, and you know, you had to maintain a house or do whatever it is that you have to do. You had to do it, and it wasn't with bad intentions. It was, on the contrary, for the purest of intentions, to work hard for yourself and also to work hard to give your child a life that they deserve. And I think that's something that we should all applaud each other for. You know, do your research on it. I obviously don't go just choose one and say, okay, well, I choose this one, bye. Like, go take a tour, you know, ask questions. If you see other parents, ask other parents about the daycare. And if it ends up not being for you, then it's not for you. And there's plenty of other daycares out there that you could possibly try. But, you know, I think it's important for all of us parents to keep in mind that sometimes daycare is what's necessary. And it's never easy to have to take your child to daycare and, you know, have to say bye and like have them cry and say, no, I don't want you to go. Like, it's never an easy thing, but it's the best thing to do sometimes. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And like my friend said, she thinks it was great because she was able to meet more people, she was able to build up her immune system, and her parents were able to further their careers and they have a good life. And so I think at the end of the day, you just have to look at the positives and think yeah, it kind of sucks, but there is nothing else that I can do, and I just pray that my child is in good hands. I don't really know what I thought the point was for this video, but I hope I just was able to help out any person that was kind of like debating putting their child into daycare, or any person that, you know, already has put their child into daycare and they're like, did I make a mistake, or they're feeling bad about it. And just to let you know, obviously, like, none of our situations are exactly the same, but we're humans and humans can relate to each other. And you know, if you're in a situation where you feel guilt for having to put your child into daycare, just know that you're not the only person, but you know, that feeling's not gonna last forever. And in the end, hopefully your children, like my friend, can see that their parents wanted the best for their children and for their families. So, you know, you gotta just remember that you have to do what you have to do, and the most important thing is that you love your child and, you know, you want what's best for them. So just keep that all in mind. And I mean, they're children, they're gonna love to be in daycare and be around other kids and interact with other kids and do activities. And you know, sometimes it's hard and it is expensive, but it's necessary at times. So, you know, just know that you're not alone. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I hope that you guys enjoyed. And please let me know if you want me to make more videos like this, or give me ideas as to what I can talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to share this video, Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye!